Welcome in, builders. First of all, I apologize for my voice. I am still recuperating from our New Year's Eve stream, so if I sound a little different, it's my voice for once. I figured New Year, let's try a fresh start here. I've been very critical of the Oceania DLC in the past. I'm going to give it another try. I think this is about my 5th or 6th time trying to do it. I stacked the deck in my favor the best I can to try to give us the best Oceania experience that we can get, and we will see if my opinion maybe can soften a little bit. We are going to be on the planet, what are you technically called? Xererius Quadronus. This is a Gaia planet. As we can see here, sunlight is a little bit low. We're kind of around a orange-yellow G5 star. The temperature is very mellow. The planet is relatively old. We did end up with life here, although I didn't force it. Map size is relatively large compared to what I normally play. Metal's a little bit low. Beyond that, as you can see here, this is mostly a water planet. So 71% oceans. We have some decent rainfall. The atmosphere is almost 1,000 millibar. So that is pretty dang Earth-like. In addition, we have a little bit of mountains and obviously some islands. The temperature is relatively mellow around the world, including at the tropics where it's about 15 Celsius year-round. So I'm hoping that I can actually do some open air farms. Something I really love to see those on the map, and I never play planets because I generally play pretty harsh planets, so I never actually get to do that. We look at our biosphere here. Gaia planets are known to be really mellow and Earth-like. As you can see, no atmo hazard, no xeno hazard, no atmo farming hazard. Alien tissue is actually good value. We have fishing on this planet. The vegetation level is cloud forest, and there are vermoid sentient aliens. Again, I didn't force this. In fact, I actually kind of didn't want aliens, if I'm being honest, but this is what we got. Our colonization, this was a big old world with over 1 billion people on it before the collapse. A relatively plain history, if I had to say anything. Pretty much the things that you always see. Nothing really crazy there. For the apocalypse, we had a relatively, wink wink, calm apocalypse until the very end. So the trade stopped. The aliens immediately started attacking us. We did have one nuke get launched. A spaceship rammed into us. There was a lot of infighting, some raider clans, a bad earthquake, and then this last one here, a local conflict blows up to be a global jihad. Major battles take place across the entire world one last time. So 200 years ago, there was a major jihad, and then things have been pretty quiet. We still have 3.2 million people left on this planet, which is pretty high pop for the amount of land that there is. And remember, all that pre-apocalypse population is going to cause us to have some pretty hefty ruins, which I feel is pretty important because I have a sneaky suspicion that metal is going to be very rare. Like we saw, there's only 98% heavy metals on the planet. Beyond that, fishing is okay. We are relatively safe. I guess there's a little bit of alien nutritional toxicity, but it's still good, so that's fine. I think that is different than the fishing modifier. I think this is for hunting possibly, and then this is for the fishing specifically. We have some cloud forest, although it's not too crazy on this. The atmo is not too bad. If we look down at the various things for our planet, farming method advised is dome farming. I'm not sure I actually agree with that. I think we can do outside farming. It just depends on what part of the planet you're on, obviously. We have the methane synthesis mod at 265, and we don't have the deep core gas mod. So kind of interesting there. This is one, I believe this is us pulling the methane out of the air. So one I actually haven't had to do in a really long time. So could be interesting there. Our solar panels are basically at regular efficiency. Do remember that rain does affect that. So if you are anywhere where it rains, which is most of this planet, that's actually not going to be as good as it looks. The seawater is not stellar, but it's not horrific either, and it does tell us that we can have planes, so that is rather nice. Beyond that, I think that's what I want to show here. Let's go ahead and check out our history. our VidCom. The previous CEO is now buried, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It's now up to you to lead the Empire. You are the CEO of Kracken Unlimited. Some subjects cheer your ascension, but not all. You will have to hail and address the Empire as soon as possible. A new zeitgeist wanders the land. It's a time of efficiency. The effect of your public industrial assets will get a production bonus. I don't know if we started with one. That would be beautiful. Otherwise, kind of a bit of a waste. GR, and credits, not terrible. Head injury, I hate that. These ones that target your best leaders, I feel are ridiculous. Why would I do that to one of my best leaders for 1 fate point? Get out of here. To that end, I'm immediately going to go get rid of that so I don't have an oopsie moment. Yep, we're never going to play that. Coming in here, I immediately see that I'm very nervous about where we are. One of the big ouches for Oceania is constant landings and sea raids against you. I would much prefer that we were not a coastal city. I wish we were back from it, but it is what it is. Another major change in Oceania for your cities, if you do start on the coast, is you can get private harbors. Private harbors are pretty nice little assets here. They provide 20 pop credits and food and some port points. So port points can be used for when you have the maritime sea houses moving your stuff around. The big thing here for me is it's extra credits for the civilian economy. So the dome farming is 30. This is 20. Salvage is 16. So they're going to be quite a bit richer than they normally would be. In some instances, maybe I would take the scavenging off of them. I don't think I'm going to do it to them here. I think I'm going to really try to let them flourish. And the reason being is Kracken Unlimited used to be some sort of trade company in the far, far past. And from the ashes, we will rise. And we are going to shoot for democracy, commerce, and mind. So the thought here is we're going to try to generate a lot of money, which we can use to bribe population when we have bad events, which will raise our democracy score pretty easily. Oceania has a lot of events that do commerce. So again, I'm stacking the deck in my favor here. In addition, I did run corporation story module, something I didn't run the last couple times, but again, that has a lot of commerce events, and I'm really trying to stack things in my favor here, just to get over the hump and maybe enjoy Oceania. So let's actually take a look at our starting position here. So as usual, we don't start with anything. We didn't get a light industrial, and we didn't start with a strat card to do that. So that's not going to help us. We do have the maritime trade houses. I'm not in a rush to get in contact with them, but we will need to do that obviously at some point. There's an argument to be made about saving our money, but I think we're going to immediately grab the transport hub before I can't afford that. Makes me very nervous not to own that when we may need to move out. I did stick with one starting army. I feel that since I don't re-roll bad starts, generally speaking, that just helps the consistency a little bit. Let's check what we got for models. So design-wise, we have the GIs. 108 for the structural design is perfectly fine. About 100 is average. We actually are above average on the weapon design, which is nice. Yeah, not terrible. We got the Whirlwind for a 106, that's fine. A 96 on our hauler truck, that's fine. 95 on the Recon buggy, that's probably fine. Okay, so I'm not too incredibly worried about our units, so I'm not going to rush the model council. Leader-wise, we have an interesting spread here. We did luck out quite a bit. One of the hidden things about democracy is it gives you worse leaders. Maybe a little bit of commentary from Vic there. But we did end up with 2 tier 4s, one of which is our governor. Let's check them out. So we have Cameron Banks is the governor. We're definitely going to rename the city at some point. 22-year-old male, so he will last the whole game. He likes government and heart. Well, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. His intelligence is really low. That is actually pretty bad, if I'm being honest. That is really bad intelligence for a cap 4. We may need to move him around. like many things, intelligence is the most important stat, and I'm pretty concerned about him having that in here. So we're not going to have the PP to be able to move him around. PP is political points for anyone new. And so that's going to be a little difficult to move him, but that's definitely going to have to happen. That is not good enough. I don't know how he's a cap 4. Let's check our other one. This is our secretary. Okay, this looks a lot more like what I would have expected from a cap 4. I originally had thought I could use one of these guys for our initial council, but now I'm kind of thinking I'm going to need to move him out. Who could we put him in for, though? Something that needs war or charisma. So a foreign council, maybe. Maybe he goes in the foreign council. 53 charisma's plenty. We are going to have a lot of foreign council things that we're going to need to do. We have both sentient aliens and we have the maritime trade house to deal with. Okay. SHQ. Yeah, he's looking just fine. That's a perfectly acceptable leader. SHQ does do your trading with the intelligence, so that is kind of important. It's cap 3 as an MG. Okay, you are wasted there pretty hard. Cap 2 advisor. 51, not stellar. Does have improvisation, so that's something. Okay. We may assign him really early to that governor, at least until I have time to move him. We have a cap 2 in our reserves. Fine, nothing stellar. And our director of Supreme Council is a cap 1. Oof. Okay, that is not going to do there. Maybe that cap 3 can come out, and then we'll give him the Supreme Council. If I wanted to relieve you...
Copy that.
And I would probably promise you no job would be 5. Yeah, I'm gonna need to think about that. That's kind of an oof. Decisions, a new org. Well, I would want probably the Economic Council. That's just so important to get off and running. We need those basic quality of life stuff, and I really like getting the housing ASAP. Interior Council gives us the ability to tax. That can be kind of important. Foreign Council is pretty important on this map with these settings. I do feel this Economic Council is just too important not to get. I think we're going to start there. Okay, we have our Ascension speech. Now, this is always a hard one. Do I immediately lean into what we're going to try to stick with, or do we immediately try to shuffle around and grab some low-hanging fruit? I think in this case, I'm going to go all in on private economy to get us started. So we're going to do a thriving private economy is our goal. That takes us up relatively high in commerce. We could get opportunism. The big one for me here is, yeah, at level 2, improvised IP. We can spend credits to buy IP, essentially. Not a great long-term solution necessarily, but in the early game, that can be pretty darn good. So hopefully we can get those. The beginning bonus for democracy gives us a political bonus, which is pretty nice. The second level gives us a quality of life bonus of 50%. So hopefully between having a strong private economy and that, they'll be able to take care of the quality of life stuff relatively early while we're doing our research to get our own going. From Mind, we'll get a research bonus coming up. And at level 2, cultural adjustments, kind of whatever. But we'll take a look at this more when it becomes relevant. Okay, we ended with 10 points. Okay, do we have a card we can recruit? We could recruit a junior, or we could move somebody. Alternatively, we also could probably pull them out next turn. I think we're gonna play junior next turn, in fact. I gotta remember that our Supreme Council guy is trash. This is a position that's really important in the beginning, and then it kind of fades off as you go later on. But right now, they're going to need to make a bajillion rolls for us. And yeah, Archibald is not exactly the man of the hour here. Okay, let's look at moving our units around. There are aliens, so I'm sure we will have all kinds of alien fun. Hopefully we're not going to have a bajillion alien units in the water. That is one of the major annoyances, I would say. Oh, well, that's not stellar as an initial move. Okay, I'm looking for militia units to get us started here. Boy, that is difficult terrain, isn't it? Okay, that's moving all right. This is concerning. Okay, we are at the tip. Okay, well, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. On one hand, we do have our backs to the ocean, so nothing can flank me unless they're aquatic. On the other hand, though, where are we? I don't even remember the map. The map had several large islands and a few small islands. So I actually don't even remember what it looks like. That's totally fine. Okay, but because we're in Oceania, we are going to need to make sure we keep pretty strong amounts of military presence around. In the beginning, though, that's generally going to be impossible. All right, let's deploy these guys out with the thought that we're probably going to have to fight whatever's over here. Hopefully we won't have horrendous aliens. They were like squids or no, they were worms on this planet. So hopefully they won't be too bad. Worms can have some pretty nasty traits that make them hard to kill in the early game, though. Okay, building wise, I generally like to open with a scav. I will probably do that. So if we wanted to build a scavenger thing here, we would need to have 100 metal total, which we do have. We would need some industry, which we don't have, and we would need 2 machines. Okay, let's go look at our trade. All right, one thing we were taught last season by a very kind viewer was rather than building my own machines, it is much more efficient to come in here and buy them where they're available. Unfortunately, there's only one available at the moment. That's okay. Looks like we have a decent water income. Let's actually look at that here. We check here. Water quality is 4%. Okay, so the ocean is really salty, obviously, and has pretty bad pH. If we look at the water here... Okay, nothing. Oh, no, rain. Okay, so pH modifier is minus 40%. That's not the worst ever. Okay, I'm not too concerned about our water. We do have an ice mine if we need it, with plenty of water in there. I'm just debating whether I want to see if we can sell some water off. Oh, they're not even buying, so that was a whole bunch to do about nothing. Okay, I'm not in love with our food supplies. If we sold all of our food, 360 credits. It is going up. I am unlikely to recruit again anytime too soon. Food isn't a problem until it is. That's the thing. Let's do it. All right, we'll sell off our starting food. We do have some trucks, so I am going to need a little bit of oil. I'm not going to sell metal. I will sell rares. I could sell all 34 of our rares currently. I don't love that price. I think we're going to hold off on that. There is... We go to buy. So we have 3 machines available at 40 a pop. So we will buy the 2 machines. I think we're going to buy all 3 because this is going to raise the price anyways. We'll buy that. All right, still leaves us with 300 credits. So we still have a little bit of cash that we can do something with. We are not going to start this until I have the industrial points for it. So that's going to be a couple turns. I think that's a relatively quick turn 1. Let's go ahead and roll that. All right, now what we want to see is no movement. Movement will make us very sad. Unless it's them running away from down here and not aquatically running away. The worst case scenario is we have a bunch of amphibians, because as we beat them, they'll just hop into the sea and then we just have to commit a unit to defending it forever. So that is very bad for us if that happens. All right, we suffered no losses, we made no kills. Time of efficiency, contact maritime, and a spy. Goals expansion, yeah, it sure is. Okay, let's start by... I'm gonna need somebody to stay at the headquarters. I think I'm gonna have this group be the one that stays there. Yeah, they're kind of big and important, but that also means they can defend me. So I think we'll start with that. Okay. Boy, these trucks are struggling. Okay, something definitely over in that direction. All right, I think you're gonna have to help in this way. Okay, so... Okay, well, we have eyes on something.
We're taking fire.
Okay. What do we got? The Profiteer Razor. Not in love with that unit. What do you do for a... Oh, no. What do you do for a living? The Turniconcat Protalis, a land-dwelling, sizable, almost 1 meter long carnivore. It resembles a worm analog. Water carbon based. It is a profiteer predator. Oh no, they're competing for my greed. Usually this animal feeds by stealing the prize from other predators. Chameleon 2, extra hide points, great. Reproducer, I assume that means there's going to be more of them. And evasion, 50% higher HP per level versus non-infantry attackers. I mean, that could be worse. This isn't the worst. A little bit of heavy attack would really decimate these guys. Ouch is all I can say there. So immediately we're gonna have to come in here and do 400. So bye-bye IP. I am gonna chance this. Okay, good. And I am gonna chance that. Okay, good. And we're gonna block them off. Now I didn't see amphibious here. So hopefully that means they are land-based and they're not gonna be able to just sea assault me continuously. Okay, down here. Okay, I see some mountains down here and some better terrain. Okay, now something like right here or right here would be a good place, I think, for our outdoor farms. We have rain, which is important. We're not going to be able to do this yet, but just out of curiosity. So if we went here, we went agriculture. 1 round, 1 machine, 100. Okay, not so bad. Now the downside here is it uses quite a few people, and it also uses a lot of water. So if you don't have the rain for it, it's going to be relatively difficult to deal with. We did max out our water. We did use up some of our oil. Not much to say otherwise there. National budget. I think at this point we're gonna go a little heavy. Well, let's do like a 40-60.
Aye, aye, sir.
I want to make sure I have enough political points that we can do a lot of actions. Okay, you are definitely not going to be my command person. Okay, discover. I usually knock this down quite a bit. Let's do 5. Let's go even lower than I normally do. Prospecting, 5 is usually enough. Economic policies, we're not going to have much unlocked at this time. Let's do it at 5. Marine house, trade house liaisons. I'm not going to want those at the moment, particularly, so I'm going to really crater that, but we're going to have to change that at some point. So that leaves me with 84% for research if we get something.
Aye, aye, sir.
All right, and now we need to figure out a person. Now, let's play at least one of our juniors.
Copy that.
What do we got? So I capped 3. He's better at war and has some charisma. He's all right, but he's not stellar. Let's hop in here, hop in here. Let me have the admin skill is what I care about the most. Our governor has 1. Nobody else has any other admin skill. Okay, then I care about intelligence. So our highest intelligent person is our secretary. Economic is really important. All those things that we just put in for those sliders are things that they're going to do. So I think maybe we invest this guy there. I feel like he's a little bit wasted in the role, but it's going to be a long time before we have something better for him. So let's talk to Archer. Let's give him a call. He's our secretary. I would like him to... I'd like to relieve. Oh no, he needs 24 points. Oh, my man. Okay, well, state your job because I have no choice. Okay, we're gonna have to delay that for a turn. That is unfortunate. That is unfortunate. In that case, let's do a second recruit junior just to see if we get lucky and we can pop him in this turn. All right, so job type, let's go to none. Go to my reserve pool. Okay, we got a cap 2. Vance here. Okay, and he's not stellar at it. Okay, we're just gonna have to wait till next turn on that. We will postpone that. Sad, but I do want to get the right person in there so I don't have to do shuffle. And that's turn. Like I said, I'm not going to necessarily fully commit to a full playthrough here. Maybe we'll get that far. If Oceania just drives me insane, I will just tap at some point. But I'm hoping that we can at least get into the mechanics a little bit. Last few times I've tried to do Oceania have been pretty much me just getting my face stomped off and being just really annoyed the whole time. So hopefully that won't be the case here. Okay, time of efficiency. A representative from a maritime trade house wants to discuss things with us, and we are expanding. We need metal. Yeah, yes to all those things. I don't like that we only ended up with 26 points there. Okay, so a minor worker strike. Okay, hold that thought. Okay, they want to... A representative from Delta Marina Maritime Trade House visits us to establish a regular line of communications. That setting things up will cost some credits. If I do that, we'd still have enough to bribe the people for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and say yes and get that rolling. Okay, the minor worker strike. All right, we are going to just pay them off. We may have to sell something next turn to stay afloat, but I think I'm going to do that. And then we do have just enough points that we can come in here and tell Archer, hey, Archer, I would like you to... I'm going to tell him no job, even though we're going to give him one. I just don't have points to give him the better one. It'll make them less cranky if you tell them you have a better job for them. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. And then he's not on my list, so I still have to postpone for a turn. Okay, well, that's a... ouch, and we don't have any PP for that. That's a little bit of an ouch on the start, for sure. Okay, let's actually trade the position of these two. You're going to struggle to go that way. We're already kind of reaching the end of our logistics. Let's wait there for a turn. All right, and you go here. Okay, we have one militia unit available. Go down here. Okay, it's going to be pretty costly to move through the jungle with a road, but that is what we're going to do. One tip I can definitely say, if you have aquatic aliens, or even if you don't put your roads on the coast, because you're going to get close. You're going to get like beach landings from enemies, and they're going to immediately cut your road. So the further inland we go with that, it gives us at least a little bit more time before they can cut anything off. Building wise, I think we are still too short. So we want to make a recycling. So we need 250. Yeah, we're going to wait one more turn before we get that started. I don't have points to do that. Have you guys built? What are you building in town? Light industry. Okay. Vic did, I believe, change the priorities so they're a little more inclined to build this. That makes me very happy to see that they're planning to do that. They are making money at the moment, pretty good amounts, so hopefully that will stay the case. For myself, how screwed am I? We actually, no, that was total salary. We lost 10 credits, so I probably should sell something just to make sure we have a little bit of something something. The rare metals actually went down. That makes me pretty sad. I'm gonna sell just a smidgen of food here, just to make sure we stay above water. No pun intended. 24 credits at the end of the turn. All right, now these aliens don't sound particularly aggressive, so that's good at least. But again, this is going to cause me to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units at bare minimum to keep these two bottled up if that's what I want to try to do. I think I'm going to open up a way that he can slide out and see if he's going to walk away like that one just did. Okay, time of efficiency. We gained engaged politics. That's fine. Low and low. Yeah, we did lose 11 credits, so not stellar there. He's going to be the one that was low. All right, let's open that door up and see if he's willing to walk out. Over here, we're basically as far as we can go for all intensive purposes. Let's just try to encourage him to continue walking down the coast. We have enough that I can get started on that. Because this already has a road, that's where I'm going to build our initial salvage, our recycling facility. And we can get some income started. We have the machines, we have the metal. Yeah, start the construction. Merchant Society demands we hire their candidate. Oh, we haven't looked at factions yet. All right, what do we get? So we have the Merchant Society. They like mind a lot. That's fine. And we have the Syndic School. They like heart, government, and democracy. Probably not going to be our bestest friends. At least they're not totally bad. So Merchant Society is totally fine. I will accept that. Maybe we'll get lucky here. Okay. Archie is a cap 1. Watson is one of the cap 3s. We're looking for Archer. So I would rather piss off a cap 1.
Order acknowledged.
Archer Jones. Yeah, look how mad he is that we took him out of that position. All right, we'll be happier now. Yeah, now he's a lot happier that we gave him a job. Okay. A little sad on the start there that we're a couple turns behind on the Eco Council, but worth it, I think, in the end to have him be the guy that's going to have his forever home there, and he can do some good work for us. Okay, and that is literally going to be it again. I'm not used to these rapid fire turns. Last time we were playing, our turns were so long. We would stream for like 4 to 6 hours and we'd only do like 10 turns. Okay, come on, aliens, walk away. Walk away. I don't think he's going to walk away. Maybe an early... Oh, okay, he was aggressive. We killed 300 and we lost 500. That is not what I want to see. Okay, we have meet the CEO. Archaeological effort will be useful. Okay, he didn't move up, so that's at least a little bit of a blessing. But that does show he is aggressive, which is not stellar. Okay, let's... All right, we're already not going to be able to make our construction for the salvage point in proper time, so I am going to make those reinforcements right away. Adventurers discover a special location. Oh, there it is. Usually it's pretty far away. Hey, we might actually be able to do that one. Basically just have to count on the aliens not taking it away from us, but there's a trade post which would give us private credits plus 25. That would be pretty dang nice. All right, they want us to have the spot. I kind of okay with that. I'll say yes. Syndic wants us to hire? No, let's not get a bunch of cynics. Policy speech. Let's try to get our bureaucracy to level 2. We're going to try to make sure we focus that a little harder than last time. So we're going to build the salvage thing first, and then we're going to build that. All right, you guys, for once I didn't forget to save you, hopefully. We can get him right to here's where my supply ends. So I should be able to save this unit. And this is just up to whether the aliens come and take it or not. There's not much I can do about that. But hey, 25 extra credits, so even if it's just for a few turns. Okay, it looks like they started construction. Yep, they sure did. 1 turn left. That's huge. That's going to be huge for us. Okay, we are going to run out of money, though, again. So we're going to need to sell something. Rare earth. This price absolutely sucks, but I don't think I have a choice. So I'm going to do one big sale of just almost all of our rares. And we're just going to have to live off of this money as long as we can. And let's roll that turn. All right, Kraken, live up to your name. Yeah, I think an early buggy might be needed to clear those things out. I think a buggy will make pretty short work of them. They had absolutely miserable heart attack, so the buggy should be pretty safe. In addition, getting that extra recon out will be important. In season 4, I believe it was, we suffered greatly for lack of decent recon. Okay, we gained free markets. Soldier morale problem, more bureaucracy, hold the hex. All right, we're gonna have him come back into supply. In fact, come back even further. Okay, they're not moving, which is sad. Okay, let's go here. If he does come in, it's not the end of the world. In fact, here, you can go there. I'm gonna try to maintain this. I would like to meet that promise if I can. Getting an early word score up would help us a ton in the early game when people are pretty cranky. No, I don't want your stupid candidate. Go away. Yeah, we're going to have a bajillion faction requests because we're not diplomacy, because we're democratic. Okay, we have a whole bunch of points now. Now that I'm not sweating it out, maybe it's time we can move somebody else. So if we look in here again, who is my other like stupid bad one? Supreme Council with a tier 1 guy. That is absolute misery. If I move him, Supreme Council needs mostly intelligence and war. I believe war is technically their best one. So we could get that governor out. Because you actually, despite being a tier 4, are actually pretty bad at it. Although, I guess he still needs the intelligence, though. Yeah, even my cap 3s would be better than this guy, frankly. And I think I want to get them in here so they can start learning. So who would we prefer to get in here? Intelligence-wise, a 30 on Watson. Did we pull any more cards? No. Let's actually meet the CEO.
Aye, aye, sir.
And then let's make a decision. We might be able to use that to get him to give us somebody that would be useful. Can't afford either of these. Yeah, that is what it is. Let's get the spy out. So we'll do one there. I think we're just going to do 2 there.
Copy that.
Just get to see my island trade. I need to know how big of an island we're on. Already, we should be able to have a couple little towns if we find anything interesting or we need to expand our logistics. Oh, and look what just appeared. Oh, goodness. Yep, remember what I was saying? All right, we have amphibious ones. Sigh. All right, you start coming back. You're gonna have to step here. Oh, goodness. Okay. Sad. Very sad. We're gonna need range attacks to hit the ones that are out in the water. My annoyance levels with this DLC are already rising. I really wish there was something we could do to shuff them away before we really get like artillery or aircraft. That's going to be really annoying. And they could just take my entire peninsula consistently. Okay, we did finish our recycling, so that's great. The next thing I'm absolutely going to force myself to build will be the bureaucratic office. 1 turn of 100, so we are going to wait a turn or two, and then we will queue that up. Go ahead and run that one. Please don't cut off my food. Man, why would they build their domes over there instead of down south, where at least it's not on the coast? Feels really bad, man. Okay, stay there, and that guy down south, shuffle off. I'm definitely going to need to make a... Oh, man. I'm definitely going to need to make a machine gun unit. Okay, that wasn't the worst. Okay, you shuffle in. I would... Oh, and they stood on it. Okay, we're not going to be able to get that back. That's just a non-starter. All right, head up this way. We are going to build... Okay, now this uses 10 power, which we can afford, but that's basically the end of our power. So we are basically stuck here until we get some kind of power generation. Now we do start with some. I believe we should have... Yeah, we have the organic furnace. Totally usable here. And actually kind of nice because it'll chop down the woods. So if I could build that here, I believe rank 1 is one set of hexes and rank 2 will go another. We could use this to clear out the area, just like we could use an open farm to do the same. So I do think we will try to get a road to here and build an organic furnace relatively early. Like, that may be the next thing we do. Or maybe we get some more scavenging, one of the two. And then with extra power, we can get extra bureaucracy. And we're just going to put ourselves on the clock of running out of fuel, but hoping that our extra admin, which is going mostly into the Econ Council to get that research, will happen. All right, meeting with the CEO. We could just say hi. We could ask for a board member, or we could increase corporate taxes. Okay, so let's ask for a board member. I don't have any problems considering a candidate. You will receive a new stratagem. Yep. Okay, did we get that already? We did. So a leader will be welcomed onto the board of directors of the corporation, and we are going to target Archer.
Aye, aye, sir.
Archer was pleased, and his relation went up by 34. Now, the reason I like doing that, if we go to Archer, as a corporate board member, he gets an extra 10 charisma. That's kind of whatever, but it'll make him happy. And I don't know if we actually get more influence within the corporation, but either way, that's still pretty good. Maybe some other events can also proc via that. So we've got him pegged at 100 relation. Hopefully that's going to stay there while he makes hopeful adjustments. Yeah, hopefully he'll make some adjustments and get off of government. He's got to get with the program, man. Okay, we do have shadow spies. I don't care about that at the moment. We have no covert ops. Nothing here. We may end up having to play credits. We'll see. It's nice to have that in my pocket at least. Archaeological effort? We could play that. Sure.
Aye, aye, sir.
We did not make it. Making him do rolls at least will help him get XP, even if he does fail. Okay, honestly, I'm gonna bring this back, as much as I don't want to do that. Oh no, there's another type. All right, we've got squirmers. Oh no, it's a 4 meter long. Okay, this is aquatic. Aquatic is fine because it shouldn't be able to come on land. Okay, so we need to see if this is also a squirmer. I'm hoping I'm remembering that. Oh, never mind. Oh, no, we're okay. Amorphous, not amphibious. Metallic, amorphous, burrower, social swimmer. That is ridiculous. 100 soft attack is nothing to sneeze at. Yeah, I don't love that. Okay, we are building our bureaucracy. We may try to get that recon buggy actually is the next thing we do. Yeah, let's let this finish. If I did want to do that, an independent buggy, yeah, we're only at 40%. Okay. And there's really no reason to be out this far. Let's step back to here, and that gives him the river defense if something comes in from this way. Okay, you moved back in. You're out of range. I was going to try to save this, but they went and stood on it because, of course, they did. There's just no shot I can hold that. Maybe if I can get the road down. I've absolutely got to get the bureaucratic offices done first, though. Okay, and we look through here. Yeah, nothing I want to play at the moment. Okay, let's go ahead and roll that. Yeah, I want to see those squirmers stay in the water. I'm pretty sure because they're aquatic, they cannot get on land. I didn't see anything that would let them. It's been a while since I played, though. I seem to remember they have to be amphibians to come up on land, which makes total sense. Honestly, aquatic things literally don't matter if they can't come on land, and there's nothing they can do to me. I literally don't care. We killed 100 walkers. Okay, well, that's worrisome. Okay, we did get our bureaucracy up, which is our promise. We also gained opportunism. We discovered the uni. Okay, Delta Marina has started an auction. That's going to be really important. You know, with low supply, and we need some happiness. Okay, well, that's going to be you. Yeah, come on back into supply for the time being. You are working your way up the coast. I need to get a unit to sit here. Okay, we did get another big unit. I'm actually going to have him do it. All right, and you can take over as the city, or you can. There we go. Yeah, I need to have a really big unit here to make sure we don't lose this. That's my recycling and my food. Okay, now we either need to get the road started with the possibility of maybe trying to get this. I'm sketch on that. We could get the road to here. The road to here gets me power, and the power gets us more bureaucracy. I like the idea of that. Or we get the recon buggies. Those are kind of the things we can do. Here, we're actually going to cut back on Supreme Council because I just don't have anything to spend this on at the moment. So we'll raise our eco. Demand our private assets will reach level 8. Sure. I hope you guys do it. Okay, new organization. Okay, a foreign affairs office might be pretty good here. It's a little bit early. We're going to have money problems, though, which kind of makes me want the Interior Council. The thing about the foreign affairs, though, is that's probably where I'm going to put our other Cap 4. He's kind of trash, unfortunately. Like, what a bad guy. In foreign affairs, most of it is needed as charisma. And there's only a couple things in there that need oh my gosh, brain dying. They need intelligence. He could start learning the role. It'll be really good later. Let's do it. This is going to be a little different than I normally would do. We're not going to start researching this until we have all the things discovered. Okay, stock auctions. This is important. So we want to get stock because then we get votes on what they do. Let's actually go learn a little bit about them before we start putting our money down. So we know of 2 different ones. We're neutral with this one and we have no contact with that one. Clan Elder is Portia de Crew Delta Marina. She has a lot of support. They're very aggressive, but not very expansionistic. They're not super greedy. They're deep sea miners. Is able to extract metals and oil from deep sea. This particular maritime trade house is extracting good quantities of oil, metal, and rare metals. It will have extra supplies of these items. Now, I believe these are interacting with the local merchants that we use when we use the trade button. So getting in good with these guys should help us in the fact that they should keep the price of metal down possibly. So that could be kind of nice. They have 4 ships. We don't know much about them. Okay, they have 12 shares currently and they're auctioning 1 off. All right, we will try to do this and we will try to lowball it. So the minimum bid is 137 bid.
Aye, aye, sir.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna do. Just a minimum bid there. I don't think anyone else is gonna have contact with them, is my hope. And then thus, if I'm the only person bidding, it should go to me. Okay, we are gonna wanna take our governor out, but I don't wanna do it this turn. We'll do it next turn. We have a spy. Okay, a minor territory, a minor, a non-aligned. Okay, let's do
Copy
this.
that.
Okay, we got our spy in. Hopefully, because we'll have our foreign office early, maybe we can get a integration with one of these miners early. That could be pretty powerful. Okay, here. Pull back. I'm not getting enough supplies. I really wish this guy would have buzzed off. All right. Can we... 36 on the bike. What is the holdup? It's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be just IP. And that's going to hurt for quite a while. They need 396. We are not making nearly that much. Okay. Do we road? I don't think we do. I think we just chill. As annoying as it is, I think we just chill. We are losing a little bit of metal when we built, but we're not going to be building much. Yeah, I think that's going to be it for the turn. Okay, come on, buddy. Shuffle off. Shuffle off. Just because I think that we can beat those aliens with the Recon, I think I'm going to save for the Recon buggy. It's kind of a big investment at this point, but if I could get that guy out of there, that frees up a whole bunch of units that I could use to go do other things. Yeah, look, we actually have territory. I would like to be able to get there. Okay, the militia had a parade. Efficiency. Gained conflict resolution. Admin went up to 4. Okay, got some fate cards. Gladiators. Motherlode. Frontline inspiration. Okay. A political aid truck and a spy. Our bid of 137 failed. It went for 248 to someone else. Okay, that's a little sad, but we knew we were lowballing it, so it is what it is. IP production, more private assets. Okay, who do we have a bad relationship already? Our secretary is all pissy. We got a lot of people who are pissy. Well, not much I can do about that at the moment. Okay, militia parade. In the early game, this is really nice, and it would make 2 people really happy. I'm gonna do it. That's maybe a bad investment. Okay, new foreign affairs thing. So we want to come into, let's not do it this way, our town, and we're gonna call Cameron Banks. We're gonna relieve, and we're gonna tell him we have a, I believe I'm pretty sure being a director is better than a governor. I really should learn that. A better job for you. All right, Cameron. Okay, cap 2, cap 1. Okay, piss off the cap 1. Cameron, appointed. All right, that'll be a place that he can maybe do some work. For now, I'm much more interested in minor diplomacy.
Understood.
Okay, good luck, buddy. Okay, we have a spy. Okay, another minor. We'll send the spy. Hey, if nothing else, at least they're not directly on my borders rushing my capital. So at least we have that going for us. Okay, we are currently making 84. Okay, this actually isn't so bad because they built the light industry, because we're in the time of efficiency, this isn't as bad as it might otherwise be. So they've got that light industry going, making them 21 bucks. That's rather nice. I think I'm going to pretty much commit to getting the Recon buggy. I think that's going to be the goal. At the rate we're going, the 2 turns isn't too bad. Just, oh, and I've lost sight of them. I was going to say just to double check their stats, but that's okay. Okay, I think that's literally going to be it. We don't have any other cards. We do have 2 fate points. This wouldn't be terrible early game, but I might need to break glass on the 1,000 credits. So I don't know on that one. Okay, blame it on the VOG again. I do not want to lose my best leader, so I'm just going to scrap that. Anything else I would want to scrap? Okay, we have a political aid truck. There's no reason not to send this out. Okay, to my first MG. There you go. Enjoy, enjoy, boys. Enjoy. Okay. Yep. I could make contact with that other one, but they're going to want credits, and I'd rather hold on to my credits if I can for now. How are we doing? I want to see my moolah. Treasury. Okay, in the end, we are losing 4 credits. Okay, that's not the worst thing ever. All right, zip. Our service tax is pretty nice at the moment. Definitely would like that interior, though. I think that's going to have to be next. That's, with Maritimes on, it's so important you have lots of money. As we saw, money is going to make the world go round. We're going to need to buy those shares, and we're going to need to buy scouting, and we're going to need to buy actual water transport from them, and all of that's money. Time of efficiency. Okay, they want to talk to me. Making various cards. Yeah, we may be able to do this if I can get the buggy out in time. That's all I can tell you guys. Okay, they want our democracy score to go to 61. Sure, I will try. Minor worker strike. Well, what do you know? What do you know? Okay, that's not going to quite get us there, but close. All right, we will bribe them. Bye-bye money. Ominous sealed door. 1D100. Yeah, you cannot make that roll. Make sure it stays closed for now.
Acknowledged.
I will probably never remember to actually come back and do that, but who knows, maybe. Okay, Maritime Trade House representative from Artemis Sea. Okay, this is the one we didn't have contact with. They want 200 bucks to get contact. I'm just gonna have to do it, so yes. New governor. Okay, now here's a spot where we could have some trouble. So let's not do it that way. So I do probably want everybody. What is the highest intelligence? Director of Economic Council. Commander of SHQ. That's kind of an important spot. This MG guy. All right, Simba has okay spread of stats. I mean, they're not stellar. He is definitely some sort of soldier. Rogue, okay. He's not misery. Next would be a tier 2, all the way down to Watson's for a tier 3. All right, let's get this guy out. I feel like even though he is a soldier, he has the most intelligence by quite a bit. This is probably not the forever governor, but let's do it. So relieve, we're gonna give you a better job. All right, Simba is here. You are now governor. Good luck, Simba. Okay, a little bit ouch on that. Also, we got a couple of these earlier. Okay, so we have engaged politicians. We have political bonus plus 40%. We've also got the recruit civilian card, which actually will be pretty good. We're kind of desperate for that at the moment. We have conflict resolution, quality of life bonus plus 50%. Very, very nice. Very strong in the early game. And we do have cabinet retreat, which is a nice card. We have free market, so we get private economy plus 40%. We also have opportunism, pop happiness plus 50%. Now that's population, not worker. but that's not terrible. If we ever have money, we can use the improvised IP to make some IP. And we have not gained anything down here at the moment. Okay, that's fine. It's fine, TM. Trade-wise, still not great. I would really like to not do that. Metal is really cheap. Metal is really cheap. I'd almost like to just buy that up, but I don't really have the spare credits at the moment. They're not selling any machines either. Okay, we're just gonna save up for those recon buggies. Go. Pretty interesting so far. One of the things I do remember, this world's kind of cool. Because the global temperature is 9C average, we actually have like snowy mountain ranges, which is kind of cool, right next to the jungle. So like these really high mountains that like get glacial stuff on them. That's really interesting. Reminds me of Kilimanjaro or something. Yeah, that's just kind of an interesting little thing there. Those are going to be very miserable to cross. Very miserable to cross. These natural passes are going to be important. We lost 500 infantry. We did not manage to hold the hill. We did manage to meet the private assets. Okay, we discovered power plant. Maybe. I don't... Well, this plant is... I think it's like 5 billion years old, and we do have life, so there should be oil. Low treasury. Yep. Sure is. Sure is. Okay, so decision. We need to appoint somebody for the MG. Okay, cap 1 with 24 ward. That is totally fine. Like, that's something he can do decently. Yeah. Archie,
Yes,
good luck, buddy. That did attack me here. Was it you that attacked? Hang on, can I actually figure that out? It was. Oh no. Okay, they can get up here. That is not what we want to see. On the bright side, this guy finally shuffled off.
We're under fire.
Oh no.
Requesting backup.
They're too good at ambushing. Okay, there we go. How painful was that? Are we missing? That's not what I want. Order of battle. Okay, no, we didn't lose a full group, but we did get spanked pretty hard. All right, you pull back. All right, well, it is what it is. Replenish. I will replenish. So next turn we will get the buggies. Or maybe we can get enough of them now. Let me actually peek. Raise formation. 94%. Let's get that. Let's just get it. We can start using those to do stuff. I built a very large, I think I just built a very large amount of buggies. I did. I built a full regiment. Okay, that was a little bit of an oops, but maybe that's a happy accident. Maybe that's a happy accident. And we can use those to drive these guys out. Let's immediately unit admin, change HQ. Oh, it's too big. Shoot. Okay, let's actually downgrade that. Yeah, that's okay. We'll have spare buggies. We can make other units. Yeah, no, I was wondering why that was so expensive. Oops. Something I generally change this to battalion at the beginning of the game and never change it, so I didn't even think about that. That's okay. Not the end of the world. Okay, we've taken our actions. That means I don't need to save anything for more buggies. So I think we will probably road. I will probably road to here next. How stupid expensive is that going to be? 160. That's not the worst. Or we would probably want to expand our recycling operations. This is a pretty good scav point location. Probably better I get the power up and running. If I get the power, then we can build more bureaucracy and turbocharge our research here at the beginning while it's nice and focused. But that will have to be next time because we're over an hour. That's about what I want to keep these to. As always appreciate thoughtful discussions and suggestions. Like I mentioned, I'm going to do this either to conclusion or if Oceania beats me yet again. We shall see. We're already having the Oceania fun of aquatic things attacking me and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll see how long Babel manages to keep his insanity. So, if you have any suggestions for Kracken Unlimited, you can leave that in the suggestion box. Very appreciated. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to leave a like on it. I do have to make decisions on what content I'm going to be putting my time into. So whatever people are enjoying / I'm enjoying, some combination of those two is what I'm going to put the time into. If you're not currently a subscriber, I hope I've earned your subscription today. I'd love to see you in the comments or join me live on a live stream and chit chat. We always have some levels of fun, I like to think. And if you want to go above and beyond, you can always leave a super thanks here, join me live for a super chat, check out the Patreon, or become a member here on YouTube. All right, builders, this is Kracken Industries splashing out. I will catch you in the next one. Babel out.